What is up, everybody? Welcome to the PHNX Rising live post-game show. We're here at Wild Horse Pass. I'm joined by our producer, Edwin, here. An amazing win tonight here at the stadium. An incredible atmosphere, 1-0 victory for Rising. And even just saying 1-0 doesn't do it justice by by the amount of stuff that happened towards the end of the game. So crazy atmosphere, great stuff tonight. Edwin, how you feeling?
It's the first time I felt truly amazing after a post game. I feel like it. I mean, I guess the Monterey Bay game, yes, they had the high scoring. Yes, technically that was the more dominant game.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is the game that Rising have been needing.
Yeah.
They needed this kind of win. They needed to battle it out. They needed a big performance from someone, which was Ben Lundt today.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the game that the fans wanted, and the atmosphere backed it up. I think this was a truly Phoenix Rising home game.
Yeah.
Just encapsulated it all.
Definitely. Speaking of fans, I want to shout out everybody in the chat right now. Tyler, thank you for checking in early. Albert, he's going to be listening to us in the car. Alex, he's saying Lundt for president. He's got my vote there. PX Rising Nation, I like to call Ben Lundt the large German brick wall. Yeah, let's just talk about Ben Lundt. I know Hurst was able to get the goal tonight, but the story was big game Lundt. We're discussing it before the game ended, and unfortunately there was that penalty towards the end of the game, but Edwin said, you know what? This is what's going to make tonight's title for the show if Lundt was able to come through, and he did, and it was amazing. So, what were your feelings when you saw that it was a penalty in favor of New Mexico?
Honestly, and you can attest to this.
Yeah,
I felt still calm. I think after a big performance he's had all game, the confidence was in Lundt. I think the pressure was on New Mexico United and the penalty taker because I think Lundt, mentality-wise, he was good heading in the game. He was having a tremendous game, not only just saves-wise, but passing.
Yeah.
You kind of alluded to the stats. He was very accurate today. He had the command. He made the right decision. So I feel like I was calm when that moment happened. Obviously, as a fan, you're a little nervous because it's a penalty. But I had more confidence in Lundt than the penalty taker, and he proved why.
Yeah.
I mean, just a huge game for him. He backed it up with the penalty save. That was just a cherry on top for Ben in a good game.
No, and shout out to the South End. You guys, I mean, we're over here in the press box, but we could hear you super loud over here on our end. And I think the pressure, like you were saying, was for the New Mexico penalty taker because he was facing not only Ben Lundt. I like how Rising Nation is saying the large German brick wall. And on top of that, you have the fans right behind him. So I love it, man. Lundt came through in the first half. He had a few amazing saves then. Came through in the second half as well. And so able to get the 3 points, and I know it wasn't the 2-1 victory or the 2-0 that we won it, but I think anemically, this is the game where it's like you're saying, we haven't seen this Rising before. The crowd's into it, the players are into it. There's no gaps in effort. How much Rising players are going after the ball, and I loved it because they were willing to compete tonight, and they knew it was a rivalry game, and they wanted to win it. I haven't seen them this animated the entire year, so super happy to see that.
Exactly. It's not the game Rising fans necessarily want because they want a 4-5-0 of a New Mexico United. Obviously, that's the dream, that's the wish. But obviously, with these type of derbies and how close it is, it's never going to be that way.
Yeah.
But this is the game they needed, and I keep alluding to that because this is a team that battled. This is a team that previously we kind of questioned their effort. They haven't given us a full 90 of pushing it. And this is important in two reasons.
Yeah.
First, you're facing New Mexico United on Wednesday. You already got the advantage.
Yeah.
You're in their head. You played well, and you proved that, hey, what happened before, that's a scratch. This is the game.
Yeah.
And for the second reason, the schedule's just going to get harder, right? You're going to have to battle a lot of these top teams, the Louisville, the Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have that kind of battle of a game we had tonight. So I think that's why it's very important is, can you hold on to a 1-0 lead if necessary?
Yeah.
Can that defense hold up? Can Ben hold up? Can the attack still create? Because they almost had a few chances to add to that lead. So yes, there's a little flaws to shore up. Yeah, sure. But I'm excited because this is the battle that we've been needing, and it gives me more confidence heading into the rest of the schedule.
Definitely, for sure. Before we keep talking about tonight's victory, I do want to talk to you guys about OG's Brands. If you guys don't know, OG's Brands has partnered with PHNX Sports, and they're giving away 2 tickets to tomorrow's opening game for the NBA playoffs with the Suns. So if you guys haven't yet, go ahead and go to our Instagram at PHNX_sports right now, and you guys can check out all the official rules to enter. So basically what you have to do is go in there, follow the rules, Make sure that you follow, of course, OG's Brands on Instagram as well as PHNX_sports. And you guys may be eligible to win 2 tickets to the opening game of the 2022 NBA playoffs featuring our Phoenix Suns. That's right, exactly. So make sure to go there. Again, the Instagram is at PHNX_sports. And again, follow OG's Brands as well.
Whew. So before, you did a lot of talking. So before we stray away from the Ben Lundt talk, we got to give him the DraftKings King of the game, right?
Let's do it.
There we go. The DraftKings King of the game. It couldn't be anyone else. Let's be honest here,
Big
boys.
game Lundt.
It couldn't be 4 saves. Yes, I know that's including the penalty save, but I feel like I added that as a different stat because, I mean, that's the whole game.
That's difference maker,
If New Mexico scores that, this might be a different mood, different atmosphere. But he come up with the big saves. He was accurate with his passing. Just a tremendous game from Ben Lundt, and we got Owen here too.
Through the magic of streaming, I was going to say television, but
the
Owen
magic of
has
being
magically
down
teleported.
there and coming up here now.
Owen, tell me what's going on. What happened down there in the?
Well, let's stick on Ben Lundt because one thing that Rick did say, if that's not Team of the Week performance, he doesn't know what is.
Ooh, that's true.
Okay, big words, but is it wrong?
No,
Do you think it's wrong?
No,
I don't think it's wrong. I think that what you've got there is someone who stepped up big a couple of times in the first half, and really that was the thing. Okay, we were talking earlier, and obviously, unfortunately, our friends back home now are not privy to this normally, but we were chatting about who's going to be king of the game, and we decided on Lundt before that penalty was awarded, and the reason for that really was the fact that early in the game, when you look at the saves that he was making early doors, he concedes one of those totally different game. Okay, totally different game, and I mean, in the end, it finishes 1-0. So. Yeah, of course, I guess.
Yeah.
He concedes was a different game. But it really changed things because that's where Rising have struggled. If they concede first, you got a team that New Mexico aren't necessarily a sit back and defend kind of team. But, it does open space for them to at least take less risks. And that opening goal comes off of a Ben Lundt save. The very quick transition and counter attack.
Yeah.
And you find Greg Hurst then rounding Cody Mizell and slotting it away. But
yeah. No, I love it. I love the game plan. I knew, Rising was going to step back a little bit. They were happy to just kind of give New Mexico the chances up there because they were looking for a counterattack like that. And especially with someone like Ben Lundt in the back, able to, keep Rising in the game and keep a clean sheet. That transition was insane. I really do want to time how the transition from the Ben Lundt stop all the way to the Hurst goal because that was insane. It happened super quickly. So, yeah, it's just, it's an entire team effort, especially Ben Lundt tonight. But, just super happy, man. I haven't seen the crowd so animated. Like every stomp that he did, there were oohs and ahs.
But it's New Mexico, right? I know people will sit there.
Yeah.
People will sit there and tell you this isn't a rivalry,
Yeah.
okay? And it'll be they've never beaten Rising, which is true. Is true because I am laying this down now. I am laying it down once again. Law 10 tells you that kicks from the penalty mark takes place after the game has ended a draw. So that was a draw. That was a draw in the Cup in 2019. But that's it. Then you got draws and you got Rising wins ever since.
Yeah.
So, hey, this is a game that it does mean a lot to people, whether they want to admit it or not, whether they want to admit it's a rivalry or not. It means a lot to the players. You saw the celebrations after that game. The final whistle goes and they are jumping.
Yeah.
You heard all through the chants from the south end aimed at New Mexico, which are gonna, I'm sure, only be even louder. Only be even louder on Wednesday from them. Because look, I think this set a tone. This set a tone is a very, very feisty game, tight game that ultimately New Mexico missed out on because Chris Wean couldn't put a penalty away. Ben Lundt gets his hands to it. And let's be clear, I don't think it was a particularly great penalty.
No.
It's far too central.
Yeah.
It gives this is the thing, right? Any penalty save is a good save because no goalkeeper is expected to save a penalty.
Yep.
But some penalty saves are very different to others. They're not all born equally.
Yeah.
That one, he gave him the chance to save that penalty because it was not well taken.
Yeah, no, it was definitely in the middle. Lundt's gonna get that every time. So yeah, definitely good stuff there.
Interesting comments.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm reading here.
I'm curious your thought, Owen. From Pat Moses, even though they win, I think tonight shows that Lambert's Farrell experiment against a team with attacking prowess will be exposed. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that's just Rising defense in a
I was gonna say the same
in
thing.
a four at the back kind of setup. That's kind of what they look like. What you see later on is that Rick moves to what he described as like a 3 at the back, but you can also, I guess, call it a 5 at the back if you want to. That's preference to a degree. You thought with that, obviously the fullbacks, it opens them up a bit more.
Once Madrid came in,
but once Madrid comes in and slots into that back line. So what you found there is that we were kind of, when that change happened, I was discussing with people. It's like, okay, what's happened here? Is Lambert kind of staying back? Is he moved up as a number 6? What we've actually seen there is he has kind of stayed in that back line. He was very defensive still throughout it. I think that it is. Look, I think that Rising in the end will get exposed by any team with attacking prowess because that's the nature of how they play.
Yeah.
They play a very attack-minded system whereby the fullbacks like to push up regularly, and it always leaves those centre-backs, regardless of what they're going to, who they're going to be, leaves them somewhat exposed. But look, I think that as a whole, they struggled at times, but especially once they made that change to the kind of 3 or 5 at the back, it looked a bit more solid at that point.
Yeah, no, and speaking of that, we saw that in Las Vegas where they were exposed. Las Vegas was able to execute on those counters and able to get on the scoreboard and hurt Rising that way. But I think ever since then, the defense has been trending upward. They have gotten time to work. Maybe having Ryan Flood there, Lambert, someone like a solid back line has helped Rising. So, but we're going to see it. Then, like exactly what you're saying.
In the last 4 games, including the cup match, Rising has conceded a grand total of 1 goal.
There we go.
Think about it. San Antonio, clean sheet. Galaxy, sorry, it's a cup game in the middle of that, wasn't it? Didn't clean sheet. Galaxy 2, 1 goal. Tonight, clean sheet.
That's true.
They're starting to lock it up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I was calling for it. I was like, I need some clean sheets.
Yeah, exactly.
They've been listening to me.
There's going to be obviously some flaws and some weaknesses that the fans are going to see, but I think it's the most shored up defense that I think we've seen. I think it's the most like cohesive where I'm the most comfortable. I'm not fearing 2 to 3 goals. Yes, New Mexico had their chances that obviously Lundt saved beautifully. There's some chances that shored up, but I think defensively, I like this setup a lot more than saw at the start of the year. So I'm taking what we saw tonight, because I know Rising is more of an attacking team. They're not going to be known for the most defensive team. So I'll take what I saw tonight compared to what I saw earlier in the season.
But to Corey's comment now here in the chat, I just want to say tonight we saw former USL Championship Goalkeeper of the Year, Ben Lundt. That's the performance we saw tonight. We saw the performance of someone worthy of that award.
That's true.
Yeah, no, impressive performance. Best performance, I think, so far, Rising this season for the entirety of the match. And Edwin, you always like to say, we haven't seen a full performance from Rising. This is the one where the entire 90 minutes, they're going to fight. They fought, basically, and, they were able to keep the lead. So definitely some good stuff. Owen, same lineup as last week. How did that, look in your eyes, knowing that there's a game on Wednesday again against New Mexico?
I think it kind of sums up the fact that I expect this is the priority. This was the game they looked at as the priority initially. It's hard to tell, isn't it? Because there are going to be some changes. Who I heard is very close. Very close.
Santi Moore. No?
Yeah,
there we go. I got it.
Sounds like he might be very close.
He looked a little anxious on the sideline before the game because you wanted to play this game.
Fans, you wanted to be out there.
What percentage are you giving from what you heard? This is just from what you heard, Owen. What percentage?
I don't want to give a percent. Don't make me give a percentage.
Come on,
give us some odds.
No.
Oh. You know what? Maybe if everyone just emailed DraftKings and asked for odds, maybe we'll get some.
No,
fair enough. You can cop out.
Everybody.
Yeah, no. Hopefully, we can see some. I think we're gonna see some rotations on Wednesday for sure.
But Pat has an interesting question too about it. Curious of your thoughts. Since New Mexico had so much time off before tonight, do you expect them to field the less rotated squad Wednesday compared to Rising?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who are they playing on Saturday? Because they've got another game. These games stack up, right?
Yeah. New Mexico hadn't played since March 30th?
They hadn't
a competitive
played for a while,
USL championship match. Yeah.
But then that can go 2 ways. Sometimes you're not as sharp in general. You're not quite as match fit.
Yeah.
It's hard to push full on in training when you've not got a clear target that's quite near.
Jacob.
I don't know. I'm not quite sure what we'll expect to see on Wednesday out of New Mexico. And the other thing, this is the question mark that none of us unfortunately have an answer to, but we kind of want to have an answer to it. Is Cody Mizell eligible? Because those of you who aren't aware, I believe it's policy 1042. Is it great that I just remembered that?
Yeah, I'll take your word for it because I don't know.
U.S. Soccer Federation Policy Manual. So for the Open Cup, and I believe it's section 203 of that. This is weird recall if I'm getting this right, and someone needs to look back at my tweets and tell me if I got it right. He has to be on a loan deal that's longer than 90 days to be eligible to play in the Cup.
Now, what's the
we don't know because they described it as a short-term loan, is what New Mexico described it as. So we don't yet know quite what the terms of that are. We don't know whether he's supposed to be there for the full 90 days. If he's not, Cody Mizell will not be available for that game on Wednesday, which puts him in an interesting position then.
So he's on loan from
NYCFC,
New York City. And I was surprised because Ford Parker did start their U.S. championship match, but he wasn't in the lineup today. So you're saying we might not see Cody?
I don't know what we're going to see.
Yeah.
We really don't know on that one. That one's complicated. And now Dan coming in, NYC said season-long loan. They did. They said season-long with right to recall. The problem is New Mexico is saying it's a short-term loan. We really don't know what's going on there. They need to talk to each other and work out what they've agreed. Might be a help. But
would help us all out. Yep.
Yeah, it would help a lot of people out if they could actually work out what it is that they agreed.
Yeah. Alex with a good question here. He says, any comment from Lundt on the collision? It did look pretty bad from our end. Were you able to see anything?
He didn't really have anything to say on that one after the game. We spoke to Ben. He didn't really talk about that one very much. I think what you see more after that is and we can maybe use this as a good way to segue onto something else, which is the mass confrontation.
Yeah.
The fact that you had pretty much everybody on the field except for Mizell all steaming in there. And we had a couple of yellow cards thrown out around at that point. I think that's a great reason to move on to this topic, which is, how do you feel about the way that this match was handled from an officiating perspective? And I'm throwing this to you guys. I've got my own thoughts, of course, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
Go ahead, Edwin, because I got some stuff to say.
You're making me go first.
Edwin's up first.
No, because
on the chat, we want to know what you thought too.
Because my thoughts, obviously, I'm saying it to a referee himself over here, so I know he's gonna have his.
He's got some games tomorrow morning.
I don't actually. No, the injury last week is playing with me there.
But my thoughts, for me, I thought the ref was trying to be too much of a player in this game. I thought he was trying to make his mark, and me and Ramon were talking about it the game. I don't know if he was told maybe these teams are the least carded teams. Maybe he was told it was a derby, but it seemed like he was being too much of a person, and I think that's my issue with the refereeing. I don't care about necessarily the cards. If the card is merited, then give it. But I feel like he was just trying to make his presence felt too much, a little bit late, hesitant on some calls, a little late, and that's where my issue with the referee comes. I know a lot of fans are now in the chat telling their thoughts about it.
Yeah,
not too much. I don't have too much of a hate toward him for the cards and anything. I just hate when you're trying to be too much of a player in this whole game. So that's at least my thoughts.
Yeah, the last time we asked Ramon for this, I interrupted him after he said he thought the referee was atrocious. So I'm interested in hearing this analysis now. Come on.
Yeah, the referee was atrocious. 5 yellow cards, man. Are you kidding me? I understand the fact that he was trying to control the game. The atmosphere, warranted maybe, some players being a little bit more physical. The yellow card on King, I think one of Alex here saying the same thing. I thought King was on the verge of getting a yellow, but I didn't think that exact foul where he was given the yellow warranted the yellow. So the Lambert one didn't make any sense. The one for Lundt for, stopping time like that, he came from all the way on the other side to give him a yellow. So these things to me just don't make sense. Now, New Mexico only got 2, and then, Edwin was saying that both of these teams came into this game with the least amount of cards in the entire league. So I understand. I think the ref was just trying to make sure that things didn't get out of hand, but otherwise I wasn't too happy with it.
Right, so I'm going to try and be a little bit more analytical here on this one. Okay, so he's coming to a game that is a derby game that historically has been a bit nasty at times, and does boil over at times. And so I think what we saw here is that he kind of comes in and he's trying to call it tight, and he's trying to really call a very tight game early on and not let things kind of grow and fester in that kind of sense. The problem he's got now, and this is where a lot of these yellows come in, and this is where I'll say this as fans, sometimes you have to take a step back. Don't look at the foul in the context of, was the foul hard? Was it a particularly dangerous foul? You also need to consider, is something stopping a promising attack? And what you find is that quick fouls, typically in transitional moments or in positions where players otherwise would have a nice amount of green space to run into ahead of them, those are typically going to be calls that you're going to make. You're going to get the card out of the pocket and give it for unsporting behavior, stopping a promising attack. Okay, it's just kind of what it is. And so once those cards, or once the whistle goes for the foul, sometimes you're gonna have to give the card. Unfortunately, contextually, that's the kind of position you're put in. Now, what that meant, I think, in some ways, is that when things started getting really chippy, and normally we'll say, okay, you want to call a game tight, you're hoping to keep it under control, but sometimes the players don't respond to that. And that's where you kind of got a problem. I don't think Rising responded necessarily as well as they could have to that. I think that despite the fact that it became quite apparent how he was going to call the game in that first 5-10 minutes, I don't think they really reacted to that. And what you get then, though, is when they don't react to that, and then later on things take a slight turn for the worse, and you get things like that mass confrontation, the referee doesn't have many tools left to use. In fact, the only real tool you have left to use, if you've been throwing yellow cards out left, right, and center, the only tool you've got left to use is you go to the back pocket. And let's be real here, this is a professional football match. These things, as much as we like to think that they're just simply all the things come out from a sporting perspective, they don't, okay? In general, the powers that be like to see 11 players finishing on the field for each side. You're producing an event, okay? You're not just refereeing a football match at this. You're producing an event. And that's just the reality. People don't want to see players sent off. Now, if someone earns a red card, sure, but you don't want to be given away cheaply.
No, I agree.
Yeah,
that was a long rant. I feel.
No, I know he was going
fair,
in.
though.
No, and I understand that part of the game, and I know if Owen ref my Sunday league games, I'd be yelling at him the entire time.
He'd be gone by halftime. I probably shouldn't say that because there's a chance.
Hey, there you go. Yeah, yeah. But I don't know, man. Like, let's the chat here saying Corey C says totally agree. I let them play until it becomes a problem. From my perspective, I saw one obvious yellow. The rest I need to watch back. Scott saying that this is the worst officiated game since the last one we played. Yeah.
But I like Owen's point in the sense that Rising need to learn that within 10 minutes, you know how he's going to ref the game. Respond to that. And for me, I think something I was questioning, I don't know how you two felt, is that knowing the ref and how he was calling fouls and giving cards, I was worried about Keane getting that red card in that second half.
I tend to agree.
The change should have happened.
Came out really late. Yeah,
I tend to agree. But it's at the same time, it's an interesting one when you look at. You don't really want to take your captain out. I don't think in a game like this where it's tight and all of that. Game. Yeah, you don't want to take your captain out really, and they did in the end. And the argument that Rick gave when I was chatting to him about that later on about Babu was that. Look, Babu offered something a bit different, helping cover diagonals, and obviously Joey can drop back to that right back position. Because of course, Babu didn't slot in at left back. Ryan was still at left back. Babu was kind of just ahead of him in there. It's interesting. Again, you really don't want to take him out. That's the thing. He's your captain, and in a tight game like this, that is also a game that we know means a lot, and it's.
It's
hard. It's hard, right?
Because you can't go 10 men against New Mexico either.
Yeah.
So
no, exactly.
It's like 50.
You had a team here who are very. They didn't quite have it in the final third, but from an attacking perspective, their gameplay was good. And they did ask a lot of questions of Rising's defense in that second half. There were large spells, I know, especially when I was sitting up here for the first, probably half of that second half. It felt like one-way traffic, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long spell where it felt like one-way traffic. And
I kind of had the idea that Rising was happy to just sit back and kind of just let them do the thing.
That's so risky, though. I know it. I know, right?
Especially once Madrid came in, I was like, okay, they're sitting back. They're going to absorb the attack and see if anything happens in the counterattack.
Well, I think it was, again, that, as we were talking about earlier, and the fullback pairing might not, sorry, not the fullback pairing, the centre-back pairing.
Yeah.
It's hard. They can get exposed, especially when the fullbacks go up high, and that goes for whatever centre-back pairing you've got. Sometimes you do need that extra presence in the back, and, I don't mind that. I really don't mind it. But I think there's a difference between that and sitting back and just inviting pressure. And there were times in that second half where it felt like they were under so much pressure. Rick was saying in there that he felt they were poor in transitional moments. I think he's probably right in there, but I think they were struggling normally when we say that, we're talking about transition from attack to defense. Okay. I don't think they were really doing very well kicking it up the other way in the second half at times. They got better.
Yeah.
But I think there were spells where they really just couldn't find a way to gain possession of the ball themselves.
Or even when they had it, they couldn't string maybe 1 or 2 passes to break that, initial pressure from New Mexico and able to get on that counterattack. So, yeah, I mean, definitely, I think that's something that they got to work on. So, we're going to transition here really quickly, guys. Let's talk about DraftKings for one quick second. Tomorrow's the big day, y'all. Phoenix Suns are starting their journey towards the NBA Finals, hopefully.
Come on, boys. Predictions. I'm taking Suns in 5.
Suns in 5.
Suns in 5.
I feel like they're going to lose tomorrow. And
they're going to lose tomorrow?
Suns in 5, yeah.
Oh,
Pelicans are going to come in. They look. I feel
Ramon
like they
says get your money on the Pelicans.
I don't know. But, yeah, guys. So
you do that read. I'll get you the odds.
He's going to give me the odds really quick.
If I can.
But, yeah, you guys can get ready for all the action by betting on the NBA playoffs with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. New customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets instantly. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on NBA hoops with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets with the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more you can win. Plus, each day of the playoffs, you can get a risk-free bet up to $10 if your same-game parlay doesn't hit. So if you guys haven't yet, download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code PHNX. Bet $5 on any NBA team to win their game during the playoffs and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's promo code PHNX at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. You do have to be 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details.
Let's be honest. I think that $10 risk-free
I gotta do it.
parlay. I'm smashing opt-in on that. That's an offer. No, so you think they're going to lose tomorrow?
Yeah,
you think the Suns are going to lose tomorrow?
I'm going to be that guy. Yeah.
So if you were going to bet on the Pelicans, you get plus 410. You doing it? You're going to go home now and bet on that game?
Why you always want me to lose money, but maybe. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Before we go too far,
Yeah.
shout out to Scott Mitchell with the super chat. He said, great job with these stream, guys. Best thing going in Arizona.
Oh,
sports.
man. Scott,
Hey,
thank you, man.
Scott.
Appreciate it. Thank you so
for
much.
The super chat. We appreciate the support. I mean, we love it.
Hey, we love it. Yeah, if you guys
appreciate you, Scott.
do these super chats, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Scott Mitchell, thank you so much for that super chat. Yeah, big shout out to that. Oh, man.
Sorry to cut you off, boys. I know
It's all
you were
good. No, we gotta do it.
Gotta do it.
Yeah, lifelong Suns fan, never bet on the Sun. It's bad luck, says Corey C.
Never bet on the Suns. Ooh.
I went to a game earlier this year where it was Detroit against the Suns, but the Suns are really good in the clutch, and so they were down like 15 in the fourth quarter, and they came back and they won like every they won the game like always. So yeah, we'll see what happens
How far
tomorrow.
do you think they'll make it?
What was that?
How far do you think they'll make it? The Suns. Come on.
I think they're winning it all.
He's going for winning it all. What are you going for?
Look, it's different in the playoffs, man. I know they won 64 games, but if they get to the finals and they face the Bucks, I don't think this team is equipped to beat Giannis. I'm just gonna
Mr.
say
Doom
it.
and Gloom.
It's not doom and gloom.
Mr. Doom and
it's
Gloom.
reality check. All
Yeah,
right, there were 2 up last year.
I would agree, but the thing is, they learned from last year. Their team is better. They got a big body, JaVale McGee. The
Oh,
team
man.
is better. They've clearly been the best team in the NBA. And Ramon, we taught you this lesson.
Just don't want to get hurt again, man.
Stop making clippable moments. We told you these are clippable
I'm clipping this. I'm
Bring those
clipping this
views.
tonight.
Bring
I'm
those
clipping
views.
this tonight. But when they win it all,
Play it back.
we're playing it back.
Yeah, yeah.
Every day. Every day I schedule the tweet.
Oh my god.
We'll just caption it with "Is Ramon wrong?"
First is the green
And
chili
I'll
double.
tag you in that
and then
every
now
day.
this, so
Yeah.
yeah.
They're winning it all, boys.
Oh man, yeah. Tyler. I mean, I hope. I just being a Suns fan is like a really bad relationship where you like always think they're gonna change and then you just keep getting hurt. So it's not good. But yeah. Anyway, let's get back to Rising over here. Yeah, like Ben Lundt, amazing game. I do want to talk about the crowd. I think this was the best crowd that, and I feel like I say that every game, but I think this is the best crowd that I've seen so far. Thoughts on that?
I mean, they're up for it.
Yeah.
They're up for it.
Are we gonna see this again on Wednesday?
No.
Would you be happy
We're just
with half?
answering at the same time.
Would you be happy with half of this crowd shows
Yes.
up on Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
I mean, it's hard because it's a midweek game. It's a U.S. Open Cup. It's harder to bring people here rather than a Saturday game,
Yeah.
a Derby game. You know?
I'm hearing there might be some kids coming in though.
Really?
Busting the kids in.
Like academy kids, or what do you mean?
Just busting some kids in.
Oh, okay. I mean, it'll make for.
I'm scared.
What do you mean, kids? No, yeah,
It's okay. They're not trying to high five. They're not trying to high five
people. I'm gonna stop telling you guys stories. No, I mean, hopefully, I think the boys will, rising players would really appreciate the support, and I think the momentum has to carry over. I think the New Mexico fans seeing, the New Mexico players seeing the amount of fans tonight and how much support the rising players got. I think they're a little bit scared. What do you want to say, Owen? You got a little smirk in your face.
Who was scared? Sorry, who's scared?
New Mexico.
New Mexico. The players, the fans, who?
I think so.
All of them.
Yeah,
all of them. Ooh.
Okay. They lost tonight.
Here's the thing, right? Normally this stuff is fun, but why are you here writing bulletin board material for New Mexico United?
Especially when they're facing Wednesday.
They're playing them on Wednesday, and you're just writing their team talk for them right now.
Pat Moses says sacrificing children for a win. Oh my
sacrificing children for a win.
So you exercise the U.S. Open Cup demons.
That's how bad the Open Cup has been for Rising in recent years.
Oh my God! No,
drastic measures.
Man, I'm hoping for a good crowd. I want it to be a really good game because last U.S. Open Cup game was not fun. Was not a lot of fun. So
no, it was dire.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully
that was a bad game.
Oh man. Let's talk about the offense for a little bit. Hurst was able to score his second goal of the season. Beautiful, connection there between Epps and Hurst. How did you see the front three tonight?
It was interesting because you can sit there and talk about the front three, but they kind of didn't play. It was very fluid throughout the game. Mm-hmm. Both in the sense of we saw people moving, and we saw subs and that caused changes in how they had to play. Yeah. Perfect example. In the second half, we see Claudio Repetto comes off, Calistri comes on, so that means Greg Hurst moves into the middle. Mm-hmm. That starting front three. Who's your winger? Is it Greg Hurst or Arturo Rodriguez? Because they switched. Yeah. They switched in that first half.
Why do you think that happened, though? Was it because of the back line that New Mexico had, the three, and they were just kind of maybe trying to confuse them a little bit?
Well, it can work, can't it? I mean,
that's what I thought.
If people are man-marking you, if people are looking like that, and suddenly someone's out there and they were in here, and it just anything you can do to change it up slightly can be helpful in that sense. And, you want some of that movement. You want to try and keep them on their toes. You don't want to be one-dimensional in your attack. Yeah. The fact that you've got a guy like Arturo Rodriguez that can play out there on the wing, as well as Greg Hurst, and Greg is capable of playing in that 10 role.
That versatility, yeah.
It's, of course, keep flipping him around a lot because it's good in that sense.
No, I like that, and then the fact that Arturo can, fill in momentarily throughout the game on that left wing, and they have Hurst that can either play up front, play on the left wing. He was basically in the midfield. You came to me in the middle of the first half. You're like, what is Hurst doing in the middle of the field?
We've got a. Do I dare change the tone?
No, okay, I know
we've got a comment in here, and I just want to know what you guys think. Aside from the assist, Epps was disappointing.
All right,
what are we thinking?
I saw this and I was thinking in my head, right?
Come on, Alex.
I think Epps is improving though. I think early on, we saw a hesitant Epps. We saw an Epps that didn't want to take on the one-on-ones. He's doing that more, and his movement, I think, is better. I think the clear chance that he should have put away is the one that Hurst set him up toward the middle, and he put it right toward the keeper.
Yeah.
I think he needs to, finish these chances more. I think he needs to take advantage of those. But I think as a whole, he's improving. He's not there yet.
But I still think there's moments where he's kind of cutting back, where maybe that's not the best option. He's trying to do a lot. This is the thing. He tries to do a lot all the time, and sometimes he's not making the simple decisions. He's not making those kind of simple passes, simple things like that you can try and find. He's trying to do too much, and I think that we're still seeing elements of that. Again, I understand what you're saying, that there's elements of improvement, but the improvements kind of, especially now, what you're going to find, Santi Mora is close to coming back. We're going to start getting some questions over who we are picking to play where and how we're going to piece everything together.
I mean, I wouldn't mind if Santi comes back, with having Santi, Hurst, and Repetto up front, bringing in Epps, in the second half as a substitute, because I think it just gives another dimension to this team. Now, with Epps, I think the fact that, he's struggling a little bit with the decision-making is hampering the front, three, because Repetto is not able to, work his magic up front. I think the partnership with King is improving. I think King knows when to kind of help him out a little bit more, when to, dart down the right wing. But I think Epps, like you're saying, he's missing those simple passes, connecting maybe with Arturo that will often show up to kind of help him out as well. So he's improving. I don't think he's there yet.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's start of the year Epps versus this Epps. I think
much better.
But I still think there's flaws, and I agree where there's going to be questions to be made, and I think he's got to answer that come Miami time because, as you said, Santi's going to be back, and he might be back on Wednesday. But I mean, I think next Saturday, come Miami, I think he will get the start then, and then I think that's going to be a big. Either he takes that leap forward, or we might have questions. As
and you know what I'll say, we are a month into the season now. Broadly speaking, I don't want to hear about time. No. We're a month into the season now.
Yeah,
you know
that's fair.
I think that sometimes we need to see improvements sooner rather than later when you're a month into the season.
You think a month is enough time where we can say, look, you should already be playing at your peak, your highest level?
The immediate need for working on chemistry and all of that and getting up to full speed. You've had a month. You should be up there by now.
6 games is enough for you?
Yeah. I think it is.
Okay.
That's fair. I'll give him till his Miami game. I'll give him. I know. It's. But I think it's because of Santi's injury that allows him to get that time a little more. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I can
just letting you guys know, Miami did win today, 2-0 over Hartford. They do play Inter Miami on Tuesday, so they're gonna have a little bit more rest than Rising
Cup.
Yeah, Open Cup, and then they'll be here in town next week, 7:30 at Wild Rose Pass.
Just a quick look at the league table for anyone interested. Rising now up to 5th. Results elsewhere for anyone interested there as well. Colorado Springs no longer 100%.
Memphis.
They fell to Memphis at home 2-1. San Antonio, though, do get the result on an early goal against El Paso Locomotive.
Come on, El Paso.
Oakland Roots. Juan Guerra's boys. 4-1 over Loudoun.
Go
in Oakland.
Now talk about the other one.
Can we talk about the game we had as our game of the week, which ended with 10 men on either side? San Diego Loyal 2, Louisville City 3. 3 penalties were scored in that game.
Wow.
2 for Louisville, 1 for San Diego.
Yeah.
This means Andrew Carlton's got his first goal of the season. Moving on. Just what a game that.
Yeah,
5-2.
You had the 2 top teams in the league fighting it out. I'm surprised though. 5-2.
Louisville went there, got 41% possession, and scored 5 goals.
Jeez.
2 were penalties, admittedly, right? But Louisville. Not only that, went down to 10 men in the 56th minute, with Grant Stoneman eventually getting sent off for San Diego in the 82nd. Whew.
What a game! Can't wait to see those highlights.
We're gonna have to go watch that back, aren't we? When we get home tonight, that's a watch back kind of.
It's always a fun day in the USL Championship.
Always fun in USL.
Great stuff tonight. I'm super happy with this win. I would when the penalty happened. Just to kind of wrap up my thoughts here, when the penalty happened, I was like, you know what? I'm fine with this draw. If Rising was only able to get 1 point,
it would be a gutter though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but I would be okay with it. Heading into maybe a rubber match, you would call it, on Wednesday to kind of just determine things. So. But the fact that Lundt was able to come through, give Rising those 3 points, and then again you got to face them on Wednesday. I think the momentum's on Rising's side,
right.
and they can get the W again on Wednesday.
And here's the thing: I think that we spoke about this during the past week a couple of times. In that, look, a draw's fine, right? We'd have accepted a draw. You accept a draw today and a win on Wednesday, right? That's fine. It's to put it in a points perspective, even though of course Wednesday isn't that way, but. 4 out of 6. Yeah, okay. But to get the win today really relieves pressure. I think that it takes a good amount of pressure off of Rising shoulders because if they'd have lost today, you go into so much more pressure into Wednesday. Even if you'd have drawn, you'd say, do you really want to, the loss is still a pretty pressured one to have a draw and a loss in the week.
Yeah.
Against the same team at home.
They just got to get a win, man. In those 90 minutes.
I just feel like it'll be, you'll take a little bit off of the shoulders.
Yeah.
But of course, the nature of the game is going to set a tone. And that's the boys admitted this tonight.
Mm-hmm.
You know who we haven't recognized so far tonight?
Someone had a
Joe
milestone.
Farrell.
That's right.
100. Come on,
100.
Speak on
Let's
it.
go.
Joe Farrell with his 100th appearance, and
congratulations.
You know what this club means to him.
Yeah.
And he got to get his jersey with 100 on the back, which I'm sure we'll post about later. Got a picture of that. And he was presented it down in front of the South End, And just name a more fitting venue for that player to get his shirt down there in right by there. Look, you can't really say enough good things about him and what this club means to him. And he's very much like, you just think about some of the players who played for this club, and that's what that means to him. That, he's been here, and he said there's 100 down. Here's to another 100.
Ooh.
Okay,
just shows his commitment. Yeah.
He's committed. He's committed to this club, and look, it's a good night to celebrate Joe Farrell, especially of all the games. He ends it with the armband as well. Trusted with that when Darnell goes off, and it's a 1-0 win over New Mexico.
It's fitting for what an important man of this club.
Yeah,
I think this club is lost a big man in Solo, obviously, and a very committed man. So you still have people like Joe Farrell here, obviously,
and Kev Lambert, and other guys who've just been staples in this club.
And he's one of them. So you just got to applaud.
You named them on our other show on Thursday. You said he's among the pantheon of rising greats. And I think he's earned it. Peyton says didn't hear much about Farrell tonight, which is probably great for a CB and center back, which is true. No, great stuff tonight. I think 100 games in the USL I think is great, and you have to applaud that. And the fact that he was able to get the win tonight against New Mexico as well. So,
and you know what, Edwin, is one other thing I think we need for congratulations. You managed to get it in there. Have we got a picture available for this?
You see, the issue with that is it said the file size was a little
too
large.
big.
It was too big?
It
was too big. Oh,
should
my
we wait till
God.
Tuesday?
It was too big of a moment in the South End. That's
Too
why
big
it
of a
was
moment.
too
Congratulations to the couple who got engaged in the South End tonight.
Ooh,
Shout out
congratulations.
to you.
Half time.
We'll figure out how to get the photo.
We'll find you.
We're a very versatile group. I got roped in to just, Owen, take a picture of these people.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
We'll
Never
do.
say we don't do our community service at PHNX
Congratulations.
Rising.
Yeah,
No, congratulations to that couple. We'll make sure to shout you out again once we find out your details as well. Last question here from Corey is if Santi is ready on Wednesday, does he start or does he come off the bench?
Good question. Depends how fit he is in my mind. If you think he's ready to go 90, I'd start him.
I'd come off
But
the
that's
bench.
the question. If he's not ready to go 90,
you don't risk it.
Yeah.
I'd rather him come off the bench and go 100% than having him kind of at 80% the entire match. You know what I'm saying? Like, just give him the chance to just be Santi.
I agree.
So, all right, y'all. Any last thoughts?
A lot of people are asking how many changes to expect. I would say this. For me, the changes I want to see Channing Chaston in. I think that could be a shout.
Wow, you think we'll see him?
I think we may see the Valley Boy in the game. All right, I know he's.
I don't know if I'd start him in that game.
I
don't know if I would.
Just give
he didn't make the bench tonight, did he?
He didn't make the bench.
No.
Tonight,
No.
Which is why I think maybe you hold him off because you want to fully fit.
Well,
I think I want Richmond.
I got my team sheet.
I want Richmond and Tweed.
Yeah.
Because I want other options up there because you're playing this team again. You want versatility. I think Clutch Calistri should start the game because he's the New Mexico killer. And
the New Mexico killer.
Oh.
Clutch
Calistri. I want to see
Calistri.
those three and then obviously see Santi off the bench.
Yeah, I think Repetto will go to the bench. Like you're saying, Antwi up top. I'd prefer for Hurst to stay playing.
Yeah.
I think you need him up top. And I see maybe Seijas and Quinn kind of getting some rest as well. And Lambert kind of squeezing in up top. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on.
We'll see.
All right, y'all. That wraps it up from Wild Horse Pass. Again, a 1-0 victory for Phoenix Rising. Our schedule is going to look weird this week when it comes to our shows.
We'll let you know.
We'll keep you updated. I know there was some confusion the prior week because people were,
Open Cup really messes with us, guys.
Sleep schedule. I don't even eat during that week. Like,
we don't sleep. We don't eat. We don't do anything else. We're just like.
Yeah, it's always fun, but we love it. So, we'll let you know on that. But thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe this video. It really helps us out, keeps us growing. Yes, sir.
And what else do they need to follow?
Follow PHNX _ Rising.
Double the underscores. Double the fun. And apparently double the elephant tweets as well.
No more elephant tweets. I'm tired of that. Had to see that too many times this week. Anyway.
I'm sure it'll be back out. There's another few days of New Mexico hate week to go now.
All right, y'all. Again, thank you to everybody on the chat. You guys make it super fun to do this show. We really appreciate you. We really do like you here. And if you guys have other people, tell them to come through. Tell them to come through on the chat. Check us out for the post game and our regular shows during the week. So, Edwin, thank you so much, sir. Owen, maybe some beers? Celebrate.
I feel like it's a Saturday night.
There you go. All right.
We'll see how it goes.
It's Saturday, and Owen's feeling all right. All right, y'all. Have a great night checking out from Wild Horse Pass. Until next time. See you later.